What's going on, everybody? It's Ben the Brick Builder, and I'm back with another video. This pile of bricks sitting next to me is the Duchess Crow. It is a tall-mast spaceship that I built, and I drew heavy inspiration from the movie Treasure Planet, and that's what a lot of people thought it was and recognized it from there. It does sort of look like the Legacy, but not really. It was a build I originally had done for my Logs Monthly Build Challenge, but wasn't able to actually enter it into that, mostly because I didn't finish it for that. But I did get to bring it to Brick Fair, Virginia. Correction, I built it at Brick Fair, Virginia. I had a little bit of the hull, maybe one mast, and then I took all of the parts that were on my table, swept it into a bin, brought it with me, and then built it there. I did start a time lapse while I was there, and I'll probably play that at some point. I am making this video because I want to show it off at least once, because it's super fragile. I built it in about a week and a half. There was no pre-planning involved. It was just this part goes there. So I'm gonna be building it back up because currently it won't fly, and then I'm gonna do a bit of a technique breakdown, show it off, and hopefully I'll actually be able to bring it to my Lugs monthly meeting tomorrow, but it'll be long past by the time you guys see this video. And I'm also gonna time lapse that, so that'll also play. Time lapses. This is extremely frustrating. I had it all set up, just trying to move it a little to get a better shot. It is 2 weeks later than the last clip I recorded. I have just not had the mental capacity to rebuild this again. I really need to now, because I have a bunch of stuff to do. No more time lapses. The next clip will be a finished ship. And now for today's sponsor. The subscribe button. Please do that. Thank you. Goodbye. Okay, before I get into that, I got a package, and I've been waiting like a year for this, so I'm super excited and I want to share it. It has nothing to do with Lego, but this, just open it up. There's already a tear here, so I'm gonna start there. We'll show you the actual stuff for it first. It is the 1000 Vivid Kingdoms cards. It's Kickstarter. It just like a year ago when he initially announced it or started it. He has an amazing series on it. I also got the Blood Orange deck. These are really awesome. It's gonna be really hard to open these, but I'm gonna have to, as well as some Vivid Kingdom stickers. Then probably what I'm most excited about, the Vivid Kingdom hoodie. Oh, there's not really much on the front. It's all on the back. Right, sleeves gonna hit the ship. This incredible Vivid Kingdom artwork on the back, as well as the sleeves. So cool! And that's what I'm going to be wearing the rest of this video. And now for the main event, the Duchess's Crow. On the deck we have our crew, and it appears they're facing off some combatant with their muskets and cannons. Here we have our navigator at the wheel, ready to move the ship to the easiest spot to outmaneuver their enemies. Our captain giving commands with her robotic arm, that's a sword. And up on the bow we have the first mate, who is a pineapple. We can't forget about this guy up in the crow's nest, keeping an eye out for enemy ships. And this guy taking a nap, and I guess is a hammock. In all seriousness, I don't have a story for this. This whole build wasn't really planned, so there's no story planned. And when I eventually rebuild it as the Duchess's Crow 2, I'll probably try to come up with some more backstory, things like that. This was at Brick Fair, Virginia, and they gave us this awesome Brick Fair Lane street sign. So that's featured on the rear mast. Up top we have our pirate flag, and on the back we have this awesome custom flag done by this amazing person that I met at Brick Fair, Virginia, but I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Coulter Brown, and I am the creator of the Unsinkable 2, this lovely ship here. First one is we've got a little shield reactor here, so when you turn that, cannons can extend and retract. Next one, the engine back here rotates, and that changes the maneuvering thrusters. A couple other quick ones, a knob in the back extends and retracts the, I suppose they're S-foils. And then the masts, the sails are connected so they can all be drawn in at the same time. I mean, there are a couple other things it does, like it's got a harpoon launcher, it's got some bomb launchers, it's got some flares that can fire out of the back. But
I won't make you launch anything.
Yeah, those all involve losable parts.
The reason we've got them next to each other, he gave me one of his flags, so I attached to the ship. Now they're part of the same fleet. Maybe a few hundred years distance, but part of the same fleet. Speaking of the crew, let's do a rundown of who we have. This is our captain. I don't have names for any of these characters. Our first mate, the pineapple head and hat are from K-Town bricks, which look incredible. And then our navigator, and then some just generic crew, and a stowaway. I really love the use of the Lone Ranger soldier torso for these guys. It just fits the aesthetic perfectly. At the convention, I made 2 new crew members using the blue coach torsos out of necessity, sort of, and that will explain the hats on these guys. I almost forgot about the most important person, the watchman. He's got the same uniform as the general crew, but he has a sand blue sailor hat. He's my favorite just because, and he sits all the way up here. The Lego Master, Liz P Builds, put her signature on my builds. So I made a quick swap and made this lady with the LP hat, which confused me for the longest time. I had no idea what it meant. I guessed it meant Lego Pirates, because this is a pirate ship, and that makes sense. And then after the convention, like after closing ceremonies, I actually met her, and she explained that she had put it there, and then she didn't see it, so she figured someone either picked it up or it fell on the floor, so she put a second one on, and that's when I put it on this guy. And I think he looks really funny. The hat doesn't really fit, but I think it works really great because it's a piece of the convention. When I build the Duchess's Crow 2, I do plan to expand the crew, but I probably won't use these guys. Hopefully I'll be able to get a few more of these torsos. I've gotten a few of these from the Lego store Build a Minifigure. They'll work just fine as just like deck hands, as well as these sailor caps in white. I'm also debating on whether or not the torso from the Titanic guy will work. I'm just not sure if that jacket quite fits crew member. Like, I'll probably steal arms to put on the crew if I don't end up going with the torso. Definitely won't use the hat, but I've gotten a few of these. We'll see what I do with them. One of my favorite aspects of this, and it's actually the only reason it stays upright, is the rigging. It's just an absolute ton of these gold chains linked together, stretched between things in order to create the actual rigging. As well as being really aesthetic, the rigging is fairly functional. Without it, the masts would just completely fall over. It's not strong enough to support that. And the techniques I used for the mast is a Travis brick with a bunch of studs with holes, using the rule of 5 so that I could put plates on the side in order to create the strength. And then there's a flex tube run through there to completely hold it together. It is similar on the cross beams of the masts, where there is flex tubing running on the snot side of the snot brick. So I think the next thing I'm going to go over is these decks. One in the middle is just tiles on plates. The front and back deck are created using some pretty interesting techniques that I'm not sure if I've seen before, but they are pretty simple and they create an absolutely wonderful effect. So the edge around is just plates with these hinge plates in between it, and that's fairly simple in order to create the shape of these decks. But in order to create the floor pattern, you're going to need a lot of these. These have become one of my new favorite pieces. You're just gonna stack them all up, line them up however long you need the section, and it can go all the way around. And what you're gonna need next is 1x2 tiles and these 1x1 round tiles. And then depending on the angle of whatever space you're trying to fill with these, I'm just gonna go with this shape where it predominantly turns. You're gonna wanna do that. Just with those, it's pretty simple. Fill the rest in with 1x2 tiles. Need some more of these here. On the smaller turns, you don't need the round tile on some of the sides. And you can sort of kind of get away with that. And you can use this to create pretty much any shape you need to fill in a spot. This next part is the idea that predominantly started my idea for building this ship, which is this design for the hull. Once again, you're going to need an absolute ton of these round 1x2 plates. I will also say, in going forward, I will put some like ribs under the hull. It's flexible and it has like mushed together, and I don't really have a way of fixing that right now, but going forward I will put some structure to keep the shape and so it's not all messed up like this. I'll show you the techniques for just a small curve. The first part of this is super easy and simple. You just take these 1x2 round plates and you stack them in whatever shape you need. This is really basic stuff, and in order to give it this, and this is sort of kind of what's holding it together. You're gonna need some of these brackets, some jumper plates, 1x2 plates, 2x2 tiles, and you'll also need some 2x4 plates. I guess I'll show you the first one first. It's always good to start with the first one. 2x4 plate, 2x2 tile, 2x2 tile. This one you could use the 1x2 brackets. I'm just gonna use these. You'll want a few of these. And then for the second one, 1x2 plate, jumper, jumper, bracket, bracket. You're gonna put the 2x2 tiles on like that. And you'll want a few of these as well. All right, so this segment is 4 of these long, so I've got 2 of each. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna alternate them. 2 wide, and then the 1 wide, the hole will go into the bar connection 2, and then you can repeat this on this side. And there we have our segment of the ship. For these, I have 4 on this side and 3 on this side, and that's how I did it on the build. Well, actually, the segments were 4 and 4, and then the other ones were 3 and 3. 3 and 4 is important if you want to attach it the way I did. I am probably going to attempt to look for a much better way to do it for the future, because it's not the best. Because what I did was very painstakingly insert these 3 long bars into these, and then took the other side of the segment and then attached it. And I do think it gives a really good effect. I did also do this technique on the back, but it mostly focuses on the tile parts. Another thing I think I might as well mention is the stand this is resting on is these 6x1x5 panels, as well as these 1x2x5 panels, just stacked in various ways. It's not the most stable thing, but it's enough for what this was. Alright, I think that's it. Unless I'm forgetting something, which could be. It's been a while since I've made a YouTube video, let alone a YouTube video on a mock, and I've never done like a technique breakdown video before. Is that what I should continue to do with my mocks? Continue to show it off like that? I know some people will take their mock apart to show you the techniques. Definitely not where I'm gonna be headed for showing off techniques. So please be sure to let me know what you guys thought of that in the comments. Here's some more shots.